Hello everyone, this is Bodhi, and welcome back to another episode on the Cornerstone SMP. Right now we are standing in the underground sewer system that we got started in the last episode, and there has been a ton of work on this thing since then, and I've got to show you all something right behind me here. So Nella's came in and worked some armor stand magic, and now we actually have some rats scurrying around the sewer, and these look super cool. It's such a nice touch for this build. And this place is really coming together above ground as well, but we're actually going to be taking a break from the spawn village today because it just so happens that the day that I'm recording this video on is actually May the 4th, aka Star Wars Day. And it lined up perfectly because I was planning on working on my Star Wars base anyway, so we're going to be heading over there and doing some projects. I do wish that I had planned ahead a bit better so that I could actually release this video on May the 4th, but happy Star Wars Day to everyone, even if it's a bit late, and to all my fellow Star Wars enjoyers out there, may the Force be with you. So in addition to leaving a like and maybe subscribing as well if you're excited for today's video, be sure to also let me know what your favorite Star Wars movie is and if you're planning on watching the new show, The Bad Batch, that just released. But please, no spoilers because I haven't started the show quite yet. So we're over at the Star Wars Echo Base area now, and I definitely have some plans to bring some more life into this place today. But first off, I actually want to tackle a more technical project, and that is building a super smelter, which I think will fit perfectly inside of the shield generator behind us. Having to smelt up tons of quartz for our spawn village has made me realize how much I want to build a super smelter, and right now all we have in here is this makeshift snow farm that I needed to build my mountains, and I came up with a pretty cool super smelter design, and I honestly always forget how much space we actually have in here because it's a 64 furnace super smelter, and it's not even going to take up half the space in here. Okay, so I got the resources together for this project, and does anyone else always try to craft up full stacks of the materials even if they don't need that much, or is it just me? I don't know, I just feel like it's so satisfying to do it like that. But anyways, all things considered, I don't think this will take a crazy amount of time to build, but let's go ahead and kick things off into a super quick time-lapse mode and get it done. Alright, so that only took around 20 minutes to build up, not long at all, and we don't have anything that urgently needs to be smelted, but I really want to give this thing a solid test, so I'm gonna go find something to put in here. So I grabbed this full shulker box of stone because I have too much of the stuff and we can smelt this all into smooth stone, but first let me show you guys how this system actually works. So first of all, we have this chest right here, which is for the items that are going to be smelted. So in a second, we'll put our stone in there. But this redstone system right here basically makes it so that the hopper minecart will have a delay before it releases that will let it grab about approximately a stack of items from this chest. And that way, if there's less than a stack of items, it will still let the minecart go after a second. But if there is enough, it will always grab at least a stack. And then we have the exact same system for the fuel chest, which is this one right here. And I had to throw some trapdoors for these blocks because if it's a full block, it actually won't let the minecarts travel downwards. But anyways, our final system right here is a simple dropper elevator that will take the output items from the bottom of the furnaces and send them back up to this output chest right here. So let's go ahead and give this thing a test and make sure it's all working correctly. Oh, and some of you probably noticed that the super smelter is not centered. It's very unfortunate. I designed the smelter on an even width and the shield generator is an odd number of blocks, which means that it cannot be in the middle. Yes, it is very annoying and I am not happy about it, but I can live with it. All that matters is that it actually works. So we can go ahead and test it by first putting our coal into this chest. I brought 3 stacks of coal blocks, which should be more than enough for this session. And then after that, we're going to put our stone into this chest, like so. And hopefully those minecarts should have been released. Have they not? What is going on here? Oh, nope, nothing wrong with it. I just forgot a critical detail, which is that minecart hoppers need to be on top of a detector rail in order to give off a comparator output. So if we go ahead and put all of those in now, the super smelter should work fine. And so now that I fixed that, it's all working properly. Sorry about the loud dropper noises. This is definitely not a silent design. But anyways, now we can just see how long it takes to get through a whole shulker box of stone. Alright, so the truth is I'm not exactly sure how long it takes to smelt a full shulker box of items because there were a few details or issues that presented themselves as I was using it that needed fixing. And I fixed some of them up, so it's working a lot better now, but let's take a look at it. I ended up smelting up 2 full shulker boxes of stone into smooth stone. But anyways, the first issue that needed fixing was the dropper elevator. The fact that there were 2 of them right next to each other meant that if the timers on the observers were alternating, the droppers would stay powered and it would stop working. So what I did is ended up just using 1 dropper elevator so that all of the items go into it. But that actually means that it's a bit slower and it takes a little bit of time for all the items to get to the top. But another idea just occurred to me, and that is that we could put the activation system using the observers on the side of the droppers so that they don't power each other. I think that could work better. But anyways, the second issue that we had to fix was the fact that there wasn't always even distribution because with the server latency, these would sometimes not fill up with enough items. And I think that that can be easily fixed by just adjusting these timings. So I'll take a little bit of a look at that later. But for now, I think this project has been a success and it's working pretty well. So I'll be doing some work on the design later on in my single player world to try and get all those issues resolved and have it running as smoothly as possible, because the truth is I was seriously considering making a tutorial on this super smelter design. I built it completely from scratch and I'm very happy with what I came up with. So be sure to let me know if that's something you all would be interested in once we get all of the issues resolved, of course. But at this point, before we work on anything more at the Star Wars area, I wanted to show you all something pretty cool, and that is that we actually received an award from the building competition on Hicks's Mountain. So I managed to get 3rd place, which feels really good because I wasn't even sure if I would place at all. I was really happy with the build I came up with, but there were some absolutely awesome builds on that mountain, and I wasn't sure how mine would compare. So I am absolutely thrilled with this award, and a big thanks to Hicks for hosting the competition, and I will leave a link to his recent video that showed how they judged all of the builds. The main complaint about my build is that it was a bit big and obtrusive for the spot that it's in, and I can understand that. It's a large build, and I probably could have found a better location for it, so my bad on that account. However, the interior was a big hit, which I'm really happy about because I put a ton of work into that. So you guys will have to tell me if you have any ideas as to where we should keep this cool trophy, but for now, let's go ahead and head back to the Star Wars area. And the super smelter should be working as best as possible now because I've fixed the issues that I noticed. First of all, the solution to the dropper elevator not working is to not have one. We definitely could bring the items back up there if we wanted to. There's other ways to send them upwards, like with water streams. But honestly, I don't mind walking back down here, and this way they just get to the chest a lot faster. So that's a perfectly fine solution for me. And then the second issue that I noticed is that the minecart hoppers were sometimes not picking up enough items, because what I didn't account for is when they come back up into the system with items still in their inventory, they'll actually start off the timer before they start grabbing items from the chests, which means that they won't have time to get over a stack. So now they will pick up a little bit extra items on their first run, but when they come back into the system, it is long enough for them to get a stack every single time. So that means that aside from issues caused by server lag, which I can't really control, the items should always be evenly distributed throughout the furnaces, which means that we are good to go with the super smelter and we can go ahead and get started on another project. I'm excited to add in another element to this Hoth battle scene here in a second, but first of all, I just want to get rid of all of these too tall snow layers here. This was an idea I had a while back to possibly spawn-proof this area, but honestly, putting too tall snow layers in this entire area would be way too tedious, and now this section just looks a bit weird being taller than the rest, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them all out. So with that taken care of, what I want to add in here now is not something massive like the Imperial Walkers or the shield generator, but in the battle scene, there are a bunch of trenches that the rebel soldiers are fighting from inside of, firing back at the Imperial forces. And so I want to add at least one of those in front of the shield generator here for now. And then in addition to that, there's also a bunch of turrets that would be firing back at the Imperial Walkers. So I'm going to throw in some of those as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this off into time-lapse mode once again and get this done. Alright, so we've got some cool new stuff in here now. We have this trench carved out along with these brand new turrets, and I do have to apologize because the replay recording that had me initially digging out the area for the trench ended up crashing, so I was not able to include that in a time lapse, but we still got most of it and it's done now, so that is looking good. And about these turrets, wow, a pillager patrol just spawned on top of those. Yeah, they're not spawn proof. I did throw some string on top of them to make sure that snow couldn't go on top, same as the Imperial Walkers, but I guess stuff can still spawn on them as we can see right there. But what I was going to say is, I do think that they might be a little bit big for this area, but I don't really mind. As I've said in the past, this base is not really about it being exactly how it is in the movie. I haven't done any measurements or math on how exactly the scale of each of these elements should be. Like, in reality, there would probably be a lot more distance between the trench, the Imperial Walkers, and the shield generator, but that's not really what this is about. It's just supposed to be a cool Star Wars-inspired base, and it's okay if it's not exactly to scale or exactly how it would be in the movie, so I think it's looking good, and I think we'll keep it how it is for now. And once I take care of these stupid pillagers over here, there is one more thing that I want to do in today's episode, and that is hook these up to power generators. And I'm not talking about this, that is the shield generator, that's completely separate, but in the movie, there's lots of cables that are providing power to the rebel defenses coming from just these small generator boxes, so I think I'm going to throw some of those in here, and I think I have a cool way of making it look like there's some wires hooking those up to the turrets. So I'll throw some of those in and I'll be right back. Okay, first of all, pillagers must really love the snow because 3 more patrols spawned on me while I was doing this, which is extremely annoying. But anyways, check it out. We got these cables in connecting it to these power generators, which I went a bit on the expensive side for because those are lodestones and I threw 2 of them in here. But that's okay. I used my new super smelter to smelt up some ancient debris because I had some extra. And in order to accomplish the wires or the cables or whatever you want to call them, I use signs underneath carpets, and I really like how this looks. The only issue is that if you fly not even that far away, they will immediately unload, and it does a similar thing with chests, with signs, with I think maybe item frames. so you can't see them from far away, which I don't like. But that being said, close up, it definitely looks very cool. And to get those diagonal ones in, I had to use armor stands, which was a bit tedious, but I really like how it's looking. However, if you guys have any better ideas to accomplish something that looks similar to this, but that we could be able to see from far away, I would love to hear it, because I definitely do not like the fact that even if you're like up here, you just can't see it. Well, you can see some of it. And you can see the armor stand sections, which is a bit weird if you can just see the corners, but it's okay. I like how it's looking, and we're gonna go ahead and keep it for now. And with those final bits finished up, that is going to have to be it for today's episode. I really enjoyed coming back and working on the Star Wars base again. We got a lot done, and I want to continue to add more and more things to this area, so maybe even some ships soon, who knows. But once again, guys, happy late Star Wars Day. This video should be coming out a couple days after the 4th, but that's okay. And anyways, guys, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. We recently passed 900, so if you want to help me on that road to 1,000, I would greatly appreciate it. We should hopefully be there in a couple of days. But without further ado, guys, this has been Bodhi, and I will see you all in the next one.